Can I get a new commission?
Make narrow light sword.
Can I get a new
Make broad heavy sword.
Can I get a new
Make broad light sword.
Can I?
Make light flat sword.
Can I get a new
Make heavy flat sword.
Guys, is there a way to trash a sword?
Try here. Looks like you found a way. May you share with us.
Can I?
Make narrow heavy sword.
Hmm. Can I?
Make narrow light sword. Make narrow heavy sword.
Can I get a new commission?
Make heavy spiked sword. Sword look.
Can I get a new
Make narrow heavy sword. Getting around 76k/h smithing experience WBU.
Can I?
Make broad flat sword.
Actually like it though.
It's okay. But said because wasting money.
Well, true. Me Iron Man though XD.
I see, smiley face. How much reputation you getting? Just finished all mals. Molds.
Around 140 per smith.
What bar you smell?
Myth/Addy.
I'm doing Addy.
Better to split, I figured, along with Wiki. Get more points. "14 myth bars and 14 Addy."
Thank you. I will try.
There are more segments, but points will increase drastically.
Sword look good.
Can I get a new?
Make heavy spiked sword. Got 110.
You look hungry to me. I tell you what, have a square sandwich on me. Hope that fills you up.
I get 105-ish from steel/myth mix.
Be right back. Let's test it out. Twice more steps. But quality bar almost full. This is click intensive, D. And twice long. Let's see what we got. Smiley face.
Hmm.
Can I?
Make narrow heavy sword.
Good at.
184. PTS.
I'll need to set the mold up before pouring metal into it.
We'll try now with 28 runite bar. /50th Addy and Rune got me 184 PTS. $100 rune bar will give me less, I can tell from quality bar. $28 runite bars mean.
Splitting is worth.
Looks like. And cost less.
Yup. Also more EXP since better quality.
True. Good source.
Alas, more band for the buck. Smiley face. Bang.
$180 PTS per sword. It's kind fast. How much for full set?
Hmm.
Can I?
Make heavy spiked sword. $22 kpts need for full set. $122 swords to make. This set is expensive. Expensive. $20 million need for runite bars. Saint.
Use rune plates.
Yes.
Instead of all rune bars.
I tried. Addy. Plate legs. Sword look good.
You using all rune bars though, right?
Can I?
Make heavy flat sword. I did. Now I do 50/50th rune / Addy.
But instead of using addy bars and rune bars. I think that saves money.
Rune plate legs is 38k.
Yeah, but they 3 bars. And often counts as 2. Rune plates are 5 bars and provide 4 bars.
You might be right. Runite bar is 12,5K. Rune plate legs 38K. Yes. You are right. You save 12,5K. If you use rune plate legs. Instead of runite bars. What bonus gives set? Addy plate legs is 4,3K. Sard look good.
It saves a tick.
Can I get a new?
Make heavy spiked sword. Need to make some. Plate legs.
4 computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
Хотя меня хотелось.
Never. Bad call.
LOL, why you make plate legs?
Well, you said it, D.
I haven't played bodies. Meant asterisk.
Uneasy face.
My bad, LOL.
Well, I experience.
And you gotta buy them or it to be worth.
Yes. Figure right out. D. Figure 8 asterisk. Hard way LOL.
LOL, yeah.
Can I get a new
Make narrow heavy sword.
The preform is already hot enough. You'll gain nothing from heating it further.
Can I?
Make heavy flat sword.
only get those best XP rates when you hit 99, which is a huge gap, right? Same for Adamant, same for Mithril. You come in at the start, you hit that level, your guns are blazing. Instead of having to work all the way up another 15 levels or whatever to get to the peak of that metal.
Awesome stuff. All right, Cucumber Flant said, are the commissions we get purely random, or are there weights on which can show up?
There aren't any weights as such, but it is designed so that you will never get a light heavy sword, for example, or a spiky straight commission. You'll never get, but there isn't any weighting towards any particular sets.
Stuff. All right, and another user speaking about the UI said, can we make the UI Foundry smaller in fixed mode? Right now it takes up a third of the screen.
Right, okay, so it is difficult to make it readable.
Can I get a new
Make narrow light sword.
Much less, I would suggest. So the width, if you make it narrower on the width, you're actually going to reduce the amount of pixels that you've got of warning as you're approaching the end of heat zones. So making it narrower, I would suggest, would make the game more difficult to play, and vertically decreasing its height. Now, we could decrease the space in between the bars maybe by a few pixels each one, but I'm not sure that's going to save us a vast amount of space. And I mean, the bars are the pixel height of the icons, and the icons, if they were made any smaller, they would become unreadable. So I think realistically we may be able to make it like 10 pixels smaller, maybe, but I don't think it's going to make the world of difference for the player who's requesting this.
I think, unfortunately, because it's quite a key element of the minigame, like, reducing your access to it would be, in fixed mode, would just make it far more worse experience for you than probably,
Yeah, it'd make it more difficult to read what was going on. It'd make it more confusing, I feel, if you had less space than you've currently got.
Thank you, Dylan.
Interestingly, though,
go for it.
The interface does scale very nicely for different screen resolutions. So if you play in non-fixed mode at the very high resolutions, it's also incredibly readable because we increase the heights of the different bars and things like that, make it more readable for large screen resolutions.
Awesome, thank you. All right, Nars Muse asked, could we get a better indication, more or less, of when states are changing with maybe a bit of leeway? Currently, it feels very punishing. You can't look away for even a second, because you have to click on basically the exact tick where it goes over, or you'll get damaged. It's fine while this is a fun, novel activity, but it's going to get old fast.
Maybe. My position here is maybe trying to be 100% effective with your temperature boundaries isn't actually the way to be 100% efficient in the game. And I say this not only from your experience here, but also imagine if you're approaching the boundary of your heat range and you get that sweet spot kick in. You're going to miss it because you're right on the edge of your sweet. So you're probably better going for a reheat a tick early, or going for a cooldown a tick early, rather than trying to get it bang on that 100%. I want to be as efficient as I can, because actually it's going to make you less efficient.
Yeah, it has only been the first day. I don't know how much people in chat have played the content. Maybe you've just tried it out a little bit, but it will be a case of you'll know, probably get used to when you need to come off and when it will feel right to get the most efficiency out of it. Alright, Kriya HS asks, why is there a penalty for perfectly positioning the preform right before the sword transition temperatures? Currently, if you're about to swap from one temperature to another and the yellow box appears to gain double completion, if it ticks over to the next temperature, you will lower the quality of your blade.
I'm a bit confused here. I think there may be something that we've not seen in testing that people are seeing, because if you're actually losing quality and you're using the right tool, i.e. the tool is lit up correctly and you are using the right tool within the right temperature, you should not be losing any quality. So I think maybe there might be something really, really super rare, or you're missing a click. We'll look into it at our end, but if you could give us more information about that, exactly how often you're seeing it, because I don't think it should work like that. Obviously,
You can.
Yeah, Phil.
The sweet spots can also appear. You've done your last action with a tool, and that pushes you into the next tool you need to use. A sweet spot can appear when it's gone over, which just means
I think that's bad luck.
Going,
I think.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, it means you're going to miss it. We talked about trying to avoid that, but the code or how those sweet spots works is already really complicated, and having something that steps in to avoid, a buffer around the end of each tool would just complicate it far too much. So, if it appears at the end, unlucky.
Yeah, but the actual loss of quality, that sounds like an issue. You shouldn't be losing quality from, as long as you've got the right temperature highlighted and the right tool highlighted, you should not lose any quality. So that there may be something there.
Yeah, if anyone has any clips of it, just so we can do a proper deep dive onto it, please feel free to at me with your clips, because we want to make sure that this isn't a big issue and we're not missing something major. So yeah, please do. Okay, Zach Flame asks whether it will be via variable gameplay, i.e. spike swords requiring an extra step in their creation, or via visual design, i.e. having a different preformed shape based on your mold. Was there a point in development where there was more to the mold mechanic? If not, would you like to expand on it in such ways?
I'll grab that last part first, and then I'll go back to the visual design. I've seen a few people kind of comparing this to ceremonial swords in RS3. And to be fair, that's kind of where the idea started from. We're like, could we do something kind of similar to ceremonial swords? But then we just got further and further away. We wanted it to be a far more interactive thing than just, clicking on an interface. And that's why you're running around the Foundry. But the mold setup is that, that part of it still, where you have to kind of set up your sword and go from there. But having different preforms based on your molds, there's about 30 molds, 3 parts, so it's 30 cubed. So we'd need like 27,000 individually config swords, or maybe not that, or a ludicrously high number.
Make heavy flat sword.
Represent every possible sword combination you have. And when we add more molds, that just makes it even worse. Maybe there's a middle ground where it's just like, okay, this is a spiked sword. This sword is mostly spiked. It will have a preform to shape it. But projects have a limited art budget. We couldn't put thousands of hours into a relatively medium-sized skilling update where it could have been spent elsewhere, better elsewhere, aka raids free, basically. So that's why there's only the one preform. Look.
Oh, awesome stuff. Thank you, Oasis. Pro Gabon asks, any chance we can get rid of the animation at the end of the smithing the sword? It's a little annoying having to wait on that to finish before you can turn in the sword.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So oh, sorry, you can go for that one. Yeah.
We're going to trim it down, make it a little bit, a fair bit shorter, I hope. And we're only going to play it if you make the perfect sword, which, ideally, that would happen every time. But hopefully, it only being like 1 or 2 server cycles long, as a little bit of flair, shouldn't be too annoying and hold you up too much. Just to show your efforts and give you that little satisfying crunch at the end of making that sword.
I might even be able to walk merge that animation if we cut it down enough and things. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome stuff. Yeah, that was brought up in today's feedback session. So yeah, it's something we are looking into. So do not worry. Noob Tablet 9 asks, right now some molds are just straight up upgrades from others. I obtained the Defender's tip, for example, which is just better than the Saw tip I had. Could the upgraded molds replace the existing ones instead of having them both shown on the list?
I wouldn't like to hide any of the molds that are on the list personally, but scrolling down to the bottom of the list to find your ones that you want could be a bit annoying repeatedly every time you go to a list. So we could make the list reverse order so that the highest level are at the top and the lowest level are at the bottom. If there's an appetite for that, that might make, you know, that's just like one action less during the setup process. It could make it a little bit more streamlined for you. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of yeses popping up there, so okay, yeah, we'll be doing that then.
Yes, yeah. I mean, chat isn't fully agreed, so yeah.
Yeah, okay. That looks like a definite that will be that'll be expected next update then.
Cool, awesome stuff. All right, from the general questions, we've got a couple about rewards specifically. FitMed Cook asks, why was the bar bag that holds 27 bars scrapped as a reward idea? Any chance it'll be added to later or to different content?
Excuse me. When we kind of sat down and actually did the maths for the interactions with the bar box and just going out and doing smithing, it actually turned out to be like negligible, if not slower, to use the bar box. Whereas if you just manage your inventory better in the long run, it's more efficient. But that being said, I think it could be used somewhere else. To be honest, most people were actually asking for an ore box, so that you can like AFK mining for longer, which I think is a better reward, but not a reward that should have come from Giant's Foundry, because Giant's Foundry is very specifically smithing, but the second half of smithing, which is like the production side, so it giving a mining reward didn't feel quite right, but it's definitely something for the future, just to like put in the bag and hold on to it for another piece of content.
Awesome stuff. All right, Runner 5678 asks, as costed at 1 catalyst per bar, it's just too expensive to go out of your way for it. Is the team considering buffing the catalyst, or are they happy where it sits?
I think once the dust has settled a little bit from the release, we'll have a little look at how it's balancing. I think maybe we could look at the cost of it for the Giant's Foundry points, but I'm pretty happy with how it works, as in how it physically does its job in game. It's just maybe it's a little bit too much work to get per one. But I think we'll have a little look at that after the dust has settled and we can see what's going on.
All right, nice. The local neckbeard has asked, can we please get the ability to trove a parchment the colossal blade, or the ability to buy it back from Purdue?
I've actually finished coding that today, so hopefully it'll be in next week's update. We're going with the Purdue side. Just from my opinion, the Truva system is one of the worst systems to tie into. So you'll be able to buy it, and it'll be a little bit more expensive than the barrel chest anchor, because I think for like 60 attack fuels, it's actually like the best in slot AO weapon. So that's why it's going to be a little bit more expensive. But yeah, we're doing it.
Yeah, so don't worry, all the PvPers and PKers out there, you will be able to get it back a little bit easier, which is nice. Relnif asks, could we give the Colossal Blade an extra tile range like the Halberd? Right now, it doesn't feel all that colossal.
Go ahead, Dylan.
Oh, okay. Well, if we gave it a tile range like the Halberd, and then you look at what the special is, which is hitting effectively one extra hit for every square that the thing... Isn't that the Dragon Halberd? or what the Dragon Halberd was originally. I think, as I understand, it's changed over the years and it's just a double hit now. But originally, that is exactly what it would actually make the halberd completely, the Dragon Halberd completely pointless. So let's keep the Dragon Halberd having its own unique use. And in fact, I think halberds in general having their own unique use.
Run.
Yeah, we've got the scaling attack based on NPC
LOL.
size, which like makes it the giant
LOL.
girl, which is where the name Colossal comes from. And unless it,
XD.
we introduce some like crazy AOE attack as a special, but that's probably going too far as well. It's quite cool where it sits right now, and it'd be interesting to see how it goes and if there's any tweaks that need to be made to it along the way.
Yeah, I think I referenced this in either a Gazette or one of the iterations of the Giants Foundry poll blogs, but to consider where we came from with this weapon, which was just a cosmetic override for the Hill Giant Club, and to now see it as its own standalone thing with like a special effect, it's quite interesting to see that leap.
And also best in slot for certain things as well, so yeah.
Which actually goes on to this next point, which Oasis, I know you spoke about, is where does the team believe the Colossal Blade is worth using?
Yeah, like I said, it's already found its niche in PvP, which we didn't think it'd have like a ton of uses. But I think it's going to be cool in some bosses. I think players will find some decent use in like quest bosses or other larger ones in the world. It's not crazy. It's not going to overwrite like things like the Abyssal Whip and stuff, or even the Bludgeon, I think. But I think there'll be some places on the bigger NPCs where it's like, that's pretty cool. I'll bring it and I could get some big damage off. And it looks pretty sick, so I imagine
I can see me flinching some big NPCs with it.
Yeah.
Maybe when hard mode Obor comes out, then it'll be
yeah,
it'll be the one.
But it did bring up an interesting point during development. I think this was more a me thing than anything, but it was kind of daunting introducing something like turning the Colossal Blade into a sword that's going to be useful, especially considering it comes from skilling content and not like EVM, where a lot of the other weapons come from. But based on the reception we've seen from the players, you guys seem happy to have like a weapon that doesn't just come from pure PVM. So it might set a precedent for like content in the future where these kind of interesting skilling updates can introduce kind of more unique weapons to kind of mix things up a bit more, if there's the desire for it in the future based on this.
Awesome stuff. Alright, I Am Crazy 1 says, it feels like spending 4,000 plus points on all the molds is redundant when you can just spend those points on rewards instead. As far as I understand, it's about 15% more points with the best molds. How are the mold prices decided on?
Oh, right, well, I've made some notes on this question. I've answered the question slightly differently to how it's asked, but I think that if you're just here at the Giants Foundry and all you want is to get the kit, the best kit, so that you can get on with whatever it is you would do, you're already level 99 and you probably just want to get back to your 3.5k an hour XP somewhere else. So I think realistically there, you just want to go for the kit. The molds are there for people who want to take part in this content repeatedly and get the most out of this content every day. If that's not you, then maybe you should kind of go for the kit and go for the ammo mold, the cannonball ammo mold, and get cannonball making. As for how will the prices come up with, we kind of came up with an amount of time for all of the rewards of how much time we expected a player to put in, and we thought that about quarter of an hour a mold seemed like a reasonable time for a player to put in to unlock something that's going to make their game experience a little bit more rewarding over time.
Yeah, Awesome. All right. Thank you very much, Dylan. I'm just going to chuck in a chat question because I've seen it pop up a couple of times. Can we get some clarification on how the Smith set works inside the minigame? This chat user said I have 2 out of the 4 pieces and it doesn't seem to do anything.
So every piece of just to recap the core of what the outfit is. Every piece of the smithing outfit you wear gives you a 20% chance for something to happen, and that stacks. And then when you wear the entire kit, it's 100% chance for it to happen. So when you're inside the foundry, every time you use a tool like the grindstone, polishing wheel, or trip hammer, it rolls that chance, like 20% chance, 40%, 60, or 100% chance. And if that passes, you'll get a little bit more completion from that tool. So your completion bar goes up a little bit more than it would if that roll had failed, or if you weren't wearing the outfit at all. It'll become, you'll feel it a lot more when you're wearing the whole outfit, because 100%, is every time, and it does speed up the time to make a sword. It's not massive.
I think a full set will actually allow you to skip certain heat cycles, won't it? If you've got a full set, you can do certain things without and skip a heating cycle or a cooling cycle.
Yeah. I think you could probably do like the trip hammer right at the start without having to heat the sword back up again, potentially. But it can shave off like 30 seconds off the sword creation time when you're wearing the full outfit. So yeah, that's what it does. That makes sense, if that's helpful.
Yeah, 30 seconds over multiple swords is quite a bit of time saved, I would imagine. So, all right, back onto the questions we have is from Krubus LOL. Is there any possibility to add more rewards in the upcoming weeks? Right now I have 8k points on the day of release. I'm going to get my outfit and cannon mold tomorrow likely, and then I have no reason to ever come back to play that minigame because there aren't any rewards. And I get better XP at doing other methods of training.
I'll echo what Dylan said. We currently don't have any plans to add more rewards to the Giants Foundry. Maybe further down the road, where something kind of pops up and we're like, oh, that'd be a good reward. Let's add it in, like via like a poll 78 or whatever. But we think there's enough variety. We've got consumables in there, like the catalyst and the ore packs as a way to spend your points on, and we aim the content to take roughly 15 hours. It was a big piece of feedback for us when we were working out the cost of all the rewards. After hearing players' thoughts on Guardians of the Rift, that it took a little bit too long to earn all the rewards. So we kind of narrowed that down to 15 hours with the idea that the average game time for a person is about 2 hours per day. So it's like a week of grinding, and then you get all the rewards. And if you want to get better XP elsewhere, go ahead, it's fine. But we definitely think the XP rates at Giants Foundry are strong enough to keep players there who just want to keep getting experience and grinding and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, from a personal standpoint, like playing it in the playtest and then also doing it in live game, I found much more enjoyment taken out of this, even if the XP rates are lower than Blast Furnace with Goldsmith's Gauntlets and stuff. And I saw the time fly by much quicker doing it in the Giants Foundry than I did Blast Furnace, because I went.
We're hearing
from
that a lot.
Yeah, I went from 65 to 70 while I was off, just so I could do a couple of quests. And doing Blast Furnace was like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not meant to be a replacement. It's meant to be. They're meant to complement each other, if anything, because they're two different ends of the same thing. One is the creation aspect, and one is the consumption aspect. So they're not meant to be against each other. They're meant to complement each other.
Awesome. All right. RJM 0007. Could ore packs scale with your mining level and give ores accordingly? There's already tons of ways to get coal. Would be nice if ore packs were a bit more rewarding.
I think the most important thing with these ore packs is we didn't want the Giants Foundry to be a self-fueling piece of content. Whereas, wherein you make a couple swords, you buy some ore packs, and now you have enough to make more swords and buy more ore packs, and keep going. Originally, in all honesty, they were just intended as a way for players to spend those extra points and get some value back and get a little bit of GP on top of the GP you get from the game. Similar, like the thing to compare against is the supply boxes from Mahogany Homes. Similar vein of thought from those. So no, we don't plan to add scaling. Whereas we could look at the ratios of which ores are given out in the future to make them if they're not generous enough or if it feels a little bit lacking just on the basic standpoint. But scaling is something that I don't think we ever want to approach with the ore packs.
Cool. Thank you very much, Oasis. Alright, Giorgio Zero asks, could the Colossal Blade be made tradable?
I've got a note that says no exclamation mark here. Our thinking here is, look, the Colossal Blade is a reward for people participating in this content. Yeah, if you're not participating in this content, then you shouldn't really just be able to buy it. Yeah, it's something for people who are playing.
Or for context in the script, there was a word before no, but I added a little note just to maybe amend it a little bit. So, all right. Last question about the rewards specifically. Could you please add the molds to the collection log? Feels weird they aren't in there, but purchasable in the shop.
We thought about it. So it's a bit weird. They don't actually exist as items anywhere, and the collection log only takes items. So we'll have to come up with a generic item. As long as you're happy with it looking in the collection log, they won't look like they do in the nice interface that we've got showing them off. They'll be pretty generic. I reckon we could probably add them to the collection log. If there's appetite for that, why not?
Awesome stuff. Yeah, we'll see how players. If we get any more feedback around that, because it'd be nice to know how many people want them in the collection log versus no, only the items we have in there are fine. But I mean, all the things that are like really important, I think, are in the collection log, like the kit and the ammo mold and stuff like that. They're all in there. I guess it gives those people who just want to get their kit and then get back to what they're doing. It gives them a chance to get back to what they're doing without having to work too hard and get a load of stuff that isn't going to make a difference to their gameplay, realistically speaking. Cool, awesome. All right, then we're going to go sort of switch a bit from Giants Foundry, just the general smithing questions. We've got a couple. I think we can get through them all actually. So the first one is from Cupcake Kieran. And they ask, at the last Giants Foundry Q&A, Mod Oasis mentioned that this was the smaller of the 2 skilling updates planned for the year, and how Giants Foundry helped the dev team consider ways to rework smithing. Is there anything you can share about the potential larger update and possibly your plans to address smithing on a larger scale? Oasis, since you've been called out, you might as well take it away.
Can I
make narrow heavy sword?
In an awkward position. When we were designing the Giants Foundry, we came up with another mini game that we thought would be awesome, and at the time there were plans for a second skilling update to come along, but as these things often do, it's changed. I probably shouldn't have said this back at the time, but who cares. The roadmap's been swapped around, and this year's been pretty strong for skilling updates so far. Obviously, there's room for more. We want to redo smithing as a whole and stuff. But as far as I know, the second skilling update, at least for this year, has been put on hold. But the other half, which is reworking smithing, we kind of clocked onto, and maybe this is pretty obvious to everyone else, but smithing is definitely a skill of two halves. The smelting and the smithing side. And after thinking about it and talking about it, we reckon you could probably do a fairly decent sized smithing rework, which is just the creation side and turning it into metals and stuff, and then do the smelting side. But then on top of all of that, you would also have to address mining. But just breaking it down into smaller problems means it's a much more manageable update that wouldn't take years for us to kind of get out. But I think we would have to like make piecemeal updates, which over time will address it. But if we got the community aboard along with the idea of the whole, and as it went on, we could work through all the different ways to refactor smithing into something that isn't like ridiculously unbalanced, where you're making a dragon plate body at like what, level 70 or whatever, and then a rune plate body at level 99. It would, we want to do it because it doesn't make sense. It's pointless.
But one of the big problems, and what this idea has actually allowed us to split from, is like when we were looking at reworking smithing, it was like it's not just the case of reworking smithing and the levels which you can do things. It's like looking at nearly every drop table in the game, because these all feed into what levels you can start getting large amounts of ores, and so it's a much bigger job than just let's rebalance smithing. It's looking at a large percentage of different things, different content in the game, and working out how that values and how that's going to affect the GE prices of things as well. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, again, smithing as a whole is a very interesting skill, to say the least. So yeah, there's still, maybe in time we'll have that second part for you, but we'll see when that comes to, if it does in the near future. All right, I'm not Zezima. YT ask, is the team still reviewing the recycle mechanic to allow for some items to be more efficient to melt than to alch? And then in brackets they put for mains or irons.
The formula we've got now, which is pretty easy to understand, is whatever it costs to make it, plate body 5, battle axe 2 or 3. When you chuck it in the crucible, it's that -1 across the board. This question does say for some items, I don't think we'd want to write any specific cases in there. We also didn't want you to be able to just take stacks of stackable items like darts and then just chuck loads of them in. It detracted away from the minigame a bit. So we said no to that. I mean, if players really wanted to, we could let you chuck them into the crucible, but because the crucible consumes at least 1 bar worth of material, they'll get melted down into nothing. So it could be a way to just get rid of items. But yeah, that is the mechanic. It is whatever it costs -1, and adding like a bunch of exceptions and be like, well, if I chuck in 100 parts, then it's okay. We don't want to do that. We're really happy with it being like weapons and like full helms and plate bodies. It works really nicely, and the -1 means that you're still better off alching on the whole. But if you really want that XP and the value that the minigame has in the rewards, chuck them in the Foundry.
I mean, don't you get 15 darts for 1 bar anyway? So if you put in 1 dart, if you put in a stack of darts and you use 1 bar, that means you'd end up with -14 bars in there.
We could do that,
Yeah, we'll put -14 bars in your.
10 darts, so it's 9.
Oh, that's 10
end up with
darts.
9. Yeah, but it's same principle. Yeah. Maybe just put like a 0.0001% chance to earn like 1 bar of metal for every dart you put in.
Wouldn't be worth the clicks, but yeah.
Alright, Nicholas Greenberg asked, do the devs ever consider creating a new method for skilling that actually ends up as the best XP per hour? We've seen PVM introduce new best in slot gear, but skills get minigames, some very fun that are never meta-defining outside of hallowed Sepulchre.
I think you could kind of argue that the minigames we have introduced are meta-defining in that they allow you to do something that's not the most tedious training method in the world. But that aside, we definitely do look at, does this content deserve to be best in slot? And when we're looking at smithing, the entire time
Make
we're
narrow
just
light
like,
sword.
Goldsmith gauntlets at Blast Furnace is such ridiculously high experience. We can't really touch that. We'd be looking at like 400k an hour in the Foundry to just surpass it. So it was something we didn't think we could do. It was too much of a stretch for the Foundry, and just how the content works. You're getting through so much material at the Blast Furnace. It makes sense for that XP to be so high, whereas Foundry's quite a fair bit slower. And we're already pushing it quite far with the experience you get per bar. So it's definitely the most bang for your buck. And another important thing to note is Giant's Foundry wasn't designed to be the best thing to do at 99. It was a piece of content that would jump in on what we call the player's journey. So from level 1 to 99 smithing, a player is on a journey doing different pieces of content along the way. And we wanted the Giant Foundry to slot in at multiple points. Once you get steel and mithril, you can jump back, and then Blast Furnace overtakes it. When you get gold, you might not have Goldsmith gauntlets, and then the Giant Foundry jumps back in, and it kind of jumps in and out at which is better content. And from the looks of it and how things are kind of playing out and the balancing we've done, it looks like it is going to become a piece of like the player's journey through from level 1 to 99, which is exactly what we wanted. And I'm really pleased about that. Yeah.
I would honestly say, even if people wouldn't define, especially the newer minigames, skilling minigames we've done as meta defining, I think they've at least defined a journey, like you say, Oasis, on the skills. Like Todd, I mean, is a big example anyway, because I mean, Winter Todd, who does fire making regularly after 50, Temporos is a great mini game in my opinion, like fantastic, and Guardians of the Rift also like completely new way to do runecrafting, and that makes it even more fun. So like, yeah, Giant's Foundry is fitting this nice little gap that the team wanted to do all along, which we feel like it sits where we wanted it to be and nicely. So
yeah, there's a lot more at play than just making something the best XP per hour. I think I might be wrong, but Mahogany Homes isn't the best XP per hour for construction, but the alternative is getting RSI from doing making paper racks and stuff like that. So being able to do something that's like far more enjoyable, hopefully, makes up for it, especially when you chuck in the rewards as well as a little sprinkle on top.
These poor tables that keep getting made and thrown away in both, not only like your player-owned houses, but in the Mahogany Homes as well. Like you go and make a home and then they've trashed it again. They've replaced all your furniture like 10 minutes later. I want to know where all this goes. All right, the last question we have is from It's Aiden. Is it possible if when putting plate bodies and other stuff into the Crucible, the all option could be maybe replaced with a fill option, or the X option would be remembered the previous amount?
Yeah, sure, I can make the X option remember the previous amount pretty easily, so yeah, that'll do. We'll do that.
Job done.
Easy win on the last question. Alright, okay, that is it for all the questions. I say we go through some player created content before showing you something else just before we wrap up. So first we have Gen 2 OSRS from Thala Siren, I think it is. Wow, how so? I mean, any Pokemon crossover with this is, as you probably couldn't tell, is a win in my book.
Is the player the Pokemon, or what Pokemon would the player have in this instance, right?
Yeah, I think this is like when the trainer comes in first, and then you
throw of course, yeah.
So maybe the taken from your Game Jam idea, Oasis, the stray dog power up.
I remember a few years ago we were going to do an April Fools of like Pokemon in old school, like just a blog. I don't think that ever saw the light of day, but that was actually pretty funny to read.
Oh, know what I'm doing for next April then. 100%. All right, we have the Mithril Skim Tattoo by Strange Ink. Nice little party hat in there and Cosmic Brew. Nice.
I like the shine it's got on that top edge.
That's really nice.
That's pretty killer.
Very, very cool. Very cool. The next one we have from Hexo OSRS is Facing the Zuck.
Whoa!
I'm loving these designs. All the new like pieces of artwork we're getting using the the 3D rendering models are fantastic.
I mean, that could have come out of our own marketing team, couldn't it? That's amazing.
Very, very good. Very, very good. And then we have from Higher Elo Creative, In Case I Need a Quick Telly.
Ah, that's cool.
Very nice, very nice.
I mean, Britain technically does exist in RuneScape, right? With King Arthur's castle, so maybe that could actually work. See where it takes you.
Okay, interesting. All right. And the last one is for a little voidy boy from Leander the Chair. I butchered that, so I apologise, but looks great. Looks great. Your artwork looks great.
Super cute.
Very cute. I feel like it's gonna start animating, like it's ready to go.
Gives me Ed, and Eddie vibes. With the collar look and stuff like that.
Yeah, Ralph's actually under there, just waiting to scream at the end boys. All right, and then the last thing we got to show is just a couple of, with 24 hours left to go on the RuneScape Kingdoms Kickstarter, we thought we'd give you a sneak peek of just some things that were sent our way. So, production, if we can. So, seeing some Zuck toe action going on there. There's a painted version of the Zuck model from RuneScape Kingdoms.
These models
the paintwork on it is fantastic. So the models won't be painted like this, just as a preference to prefix. You will have to paint them yourself, but
make
you
heavy
can go
flat sword
and paint them how you want. So that kind of gives you the freedom, I suppose. Right, and then we have this very, very cool player in full dragon there. I think we've got two sides of it. There we go. So he's a true PVM at heart. And then finally,
Dragon Shield. Ooh.
I know. Hoi, hoi. And finally, I think we have just a couple more painted versions by a couple of people that Mr. Shy and Mod Alex. So these are some painted versions of the models, which are all fantastic. To be honest, they're painted really, really nicely.
Yeah, I do mini painting as well, and I was really jealous that Mod Alex got these early to paint up, and I really want to paint them myself.
I was actually going to ask this. How would you rate them? Because I know you're a painter yourself. So how would you rate them?
I'm going to go really nerdy. Because why not? Getting those gradients that the guys that Mod Alex and that Mr. Shy has got on Zuck's a great example of that, crimson red down to the dark reds. So smooth. It's really hard to do, and it looks incredible.
Yeah, I'll be spraying mine black and dry brushing them, and that'll be me.
Awesome. So we've got thumbs up, I think, from everyone here. So that's good stuff. I don't think we've got any more, have we, production? Oh, no, we do. Just a little teaser to saying less than 24 hours to go, guys. So, use !RS Kingdoms to find out more. Follow the Kickstarter if you haven't already. And go and find out just everything you want to know about RuneScape coming to the tabletop. Very exciting.
Got mine ordered.
Hey, nice. All right, and with that done, I'll just go over the other two announcements very, very quickly. Game update. You can go on a giant-sized adventure with the newest skilling method. Complete the quest Sleeping Giants in order to create swords for Kovac, a friendly giant, and you can find out more whilst you scale to new heights with Giants Foundry. and exclamation mark mobile FCL. With Android and iOS betas done, what's next for us? Well, we'll be launching our new client fully on mobile very soon. So read our blog for more, and you'll get an update on ground item markers and other highly requested features. And just like I said at the beginning of the stream, for anyone on the iOS closed beta, that will be closing on June 15th. So between now and launching the client to the wider player base, you'll have to head back to the vanilla client on the App Store to continue playing OSRS Mobile. And that is it. Any last words from you, Mod Dylan, or you, Mod Oasis?
Oh, thank you very much for having us.
Yeah, seeing everyone's reactions and just being in the Foundry, and just watching players discover how the content works and sharing that information and passing it all around was awesome to see. Like Dylan said earlier, there's not a lot of like exploration in old school anymore. So like just seeing players discover things, and there's definitely still more to discover over the next like couple of weeks as people nail it down. But I'll definitely be watching a lot close attention.
Awesome stuff. So thank you once again to Mods Dylan and Oasis for coming and joining us for this Q&A. Thank you to Mod Spear behind the scenes, as always, doing a cracking job. And thank you to all the mods in chat for doing amazing work, as always. And finally, thank you to you all for tuning in and watching. Go and play Giants Foundry if you haven't already. It's fantastic. Do the quest, discover a little bit more about Kovac, the friendly giant, and go and have some fun. Go and have some fun. With that said, I've been your host, Mod Sani, and we will see you in the next one.
Can I get a new commission?
Make narrow light sword.